Hey everyone, and welcome back to Critical Edge. If you're new here, consider subscribing, turn on that bell notification so you can get up to date with whatever videos I'm doing, and don't be afraid to leave a like down below if you enjoy the video, and also please comment as well. I'd like to hear your thoughts on what we're covering here today, and we're looking at details revealed by, or rather should I say, confirmed details revealed by Sony for PlayStation 5. And basically it's got the really basic things which we already were expecting by the rumors that have been going around as of late. And it turns out some of those rumors were true. So PlayStation 5 it's going to support 8K. It's going to have 3D audio, SSD, and backwards compatibility. So given up from Mark Cerny, this is basically he's the system's architect. He had some things to say about PlayStation 5 and what we can expect from it, but obviously they didn't give us a release date, they didn't give us all the features that it's going to include, as well as what we can expect out of the system in terms of performance, like storage-wise, the processing performance, the GPU, whatever's being used, the RAM, and all of those things. So I think it's the more essential details which the normal consumer would be interested in, not so much those of us who are more tech savvy, or those of us who are more interested in what type of hardware is in the system and how far will that hardware be pushed in the future, whatever it is. But for those of you out there who currently don't even game on a 4K TV, I'm one of those people. The most I go is full HD, and I don't think 8K would be such a huge thing right now. But when we look at it and we think about it, the idea behind this is simply to future-proof the console. When you think about it, chances are they're going to try and have this thing around for at least 8 years after its launch. So I'm guessing that they're going to obviously want to have 4K and 60 FPS, or true 4K and 60 FPS, not this checkerboard that's been going on the PS4. And PlayStation 5, 8K, I'm assuming people would want to run that at 60 FPS. It would be interesting though if games, for example, at 1080p ran at 120 FPS. I'd be interested to see that. Given by the amount of power behind the system for it to do an 8K display, obviously with the next generation graphics that are going to be coming in, I can only assume that this system is going to be a heavy powerhouse, something that's going to be dishing out more and more power than any other console before it, or any other performance, more performance than any other console before it, but at the same time also consuming more power than anything else. What I am curious about, those people right now got like these the latest Nvidia cards in them. I think it's those RTX or 2070. I haven't been keeping up to date with that. I need to get back into it. But some of the latest Nvidia graphics cards currently don't really support 8K all that well for most modern games. So I don't know how this is going to work out in the future. Will PlayStation 5 ultimately defeat PC for the next, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or 3 years in terms of price? For performance, we don't know, but at the same time there hasn't been a confirmed price of it. Rumor has it's going around for about $499. It's selling at $100 loss. That is something which I think we should take at a pinch of salt. Maybe that'll be what we get out of it. I do know that with PlayStation or consoles in general, they are usually cheaper to buy them. The performance you get is usually better than a PC you get for around the same price. The catch is generally the games are more expensive on console than they are on PC. The reason being is sometimes on like Steam, for example, you get the Steam sales more than you would the console having physical sales of their physical disc mediums, whatever it is. That's just something I've noticed for certain games. It's not across all games. Sometimes the games are always priced the same. So getting a console is better for those of you who are trying to kind of go on a budget as opposed to having to build a new PC. The other trick with this though is at the same time, the PC community is fairly alive with modifications in certain games out there. Games like Devil May Cry, Street Fighter, even Resident Evil as well, Dead or Alive, Mortal Kombat. These games usually see a lot of modifications to the game, which I think is pretty cool in the sense that we sometimes get features which we won't obviously get on a console. Just don't get me wrong, consoles can be modded as well, but there's all these other security measures behind it and things like that. But anyway, that's just me speaking from a PC point of view. From a PlayStation point of view, there's an SSD included, which is pretty awesome. It's going to obviously reduce loading times. There has been something very interesting over here. Let's go into the article a bit. For starters, it's going to have a solid-state drive, something Sony admits game developers have been asking for in the next iteration of gaming hardware. During his session with Wired, Sony showed off last year's Marvel's Spider-Man running on a PlayStation 4 Pro, followed by a ROM on the new hardware. The load time dropped by 15 seconds to less than 1. So from 15 seconds to less than 1, and the game reportedly ran much smoother on the new hardware. This is what's interesting, though. I can obviously understand with this thing being backwards compatible, it's going to be playing all of our PS4 titles as well. I'm hoping that it plays all of our PS4 titles at a minimum of 60 FPS on all resolutions. And maybe even 120 FPS if we've got those type of monitors that support that. Who knows? Maybe we'll get that out of a full HD experience. If it's capable of 8K, I'm pretty sure 120 FPS isn't far out there for some games. Obviously, maybe they'll have to be patched. All the games that have to be patched around that way, I don't know. But having games run completely smooth at a really good quality, at a decent quality, is a brilliant idea, and it's wonderful. It's really good to see that. Good thing about this though is backwards compatible also with hardware. Apparently it's going to be backwards compatible with the current generation of PSVR, but they did say that, well, hardware and games will be supported, though Sony stopped short of making an announcement on PSVR 2 or anything like that. So chances are maybe they already improved on the existing hardware rather than to implement new hardware. It can be a bit expensive for gamers as well. If you have PSVR 1 already and you get a VR 2, and already the way things stand with the VR, I think it's still got a lot of potential or untapped potential that we are still yet to see. And I think it's something we should really hold on to, and something we should really work with as well going forward in the future. Obviously, when that is PSVR 1 has completely been outdone, when it's completely dead or it's been pushed to the limit, then we should look at a VR 2 or something that really improves on the current formula. But I don't know how we can do that at the moment. We'll see though. So the new console is about 8K, so the jump from 4K. The problem with this though is, like I said earlier on, not a lot of people have 8K displays. Those who 4K displays or even 8K displays. So those of you who do have it, I guess you'll benefit from it in the future. It's all about being future-proof, I suppose. So chances are we won't see a PlayStation 5 Pro. There's just going to be a PlayStation 5, just one model out of the box, I'm assuming. It would be interesting if there's a PlayStation 5 Pro later on in the life cycle. Maybe it'll go that way, maybe it won't. But we'll see though how performance goes. That's a key issue of years, performance. If you're going to be seeing frame rate dips and things like that, then obviously it's going to be a bit of a problem behind it. But we'll see though as we go along. Hardware-wise, it's going to be this 3D or AMD chip will be a 3D audio enabled. So that's pretty cool. That will be brilliant for those of you who have the sound system that supports 3D audio. You're going to love it. You're going to have to, well, in the future, I'm assuming everybody will be that way. But for now, it's just ahead of the game, I suppose. That's just the way to put it. While it's even close to the full reveal of Sony's next hardware, it gives us a decent picture on what we can expect. Perhaps more helpful is the fact that it gives us a benchmark to compare the next Xbox console to, as it will likely be revealed this year at summer's E3. For those of you who don't know, Sony is skipping out on E3 this year, probably to work on the PlayStation 5 and push more of their resources and time and effort into it. Maybe they want to release something later on. Maybe there'll be something at PSX, we don't know. Towards the end of the year, we may receive an announcement as to release, or even just a teaser about what the console looks like, and maybe we'll get to see more games running on this thing and the type of performance we can expect from it. So there it is in a nutshell, everybody, confirmed by Mark Cerny himself. It's going to be in 8K, it's got 3D audio, it's SSD. It'll have an SSD instead of an HDD, and hard disk drive, and it will be backwards compatible with PlayStation 4 titles. To what extent, I'm not sure. I hope it's compatible with all titles out of the box, not just software emulation or anything like that. But it obviously builds on the current architecture, so it improves on the current architecture. So it's, by default, we're expecting it to play everything out there that's PlayStation 4 related. So there you have it, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe and share. I hope to see you in the future. Goodbye.